Baseball hitting history has taught us the value of barreling up the ball, propelling it with that correct combo of exit velocity and launch angle to shoot it into the gaps or force it over the fence.
See ya!
But in this 2025 MLB season, an unusual and suddenly very noticeable style of bat has introduced us to a new concept: labeling the ball, or put another way, torpedoing the ball. Let's explain. In their opening weekend series against the Brewers, the Yankees offense went ballistic. The Bronx Bombers, led by reigning AL MVP Aaron Judge, hit 9 homers in a single game, just one shy of an MLB record.
Carry, goodbye! Back to back to back!
My goodness, it's home run derby in the Bronx!
Boy, this is a date they'll remember for a long time. Saturday, March 29th, 2025.
In the course of hammering 15 homers in their first 3 games, tying an American League and National League record.
Balls just keep flying out in the Bronx!
It was an impressive power performance that had folks rushing not only to the record books, but also to the rule book. As first noted in the Yes Network broadcast of the 9-homer game, a few of the Yankees players were using a new style of bat called the Torpedo. The bat is skinnier at the top end, with noticeably more wood in the area around the label, closer to the hitter's hands than the traditional barrel. Though the bat actually resembles a bowling pin more than a torpedo, the Torpedo name seems to have stuck.
Now, you see the shape of Chisholm's bat. The Yankee front office, the analytics department, did a study on Anthony Volpe, and every single ball, it seemed like he hit on the label. He didn't hit any on the barrel. So they had bats made up where they moved a lot of the wood into the label, so the harder part of the bat is going to actually strike the ball.
Though these new bats were not used by Judge, the success of the likes of Jazz Chisholm Jr., Paul Goldschmidt, Austin Wells, Cody Bellinger, and Anthony Volpe with the unusual bats instantly had folks wondering if the Yankees had torpedoed their way to an illegal competitive edge. But as it turns out, these bats are not as new as many think, are not limited to just the Yankees, and do indeed abide by MLB's stick stipulations. MLB Rule 3.02 states that the bat cannot be more than 2.61 inches in diameter and 42 inches in length. The Torpedo bat follows that protocol. The Yankees analytics department noted that some of the club's players had swing paths that made them more likely to strike the ball at places other than the barrel near the end of the bat, and that their bats could be reshaped accordingly. The idea had actually been around a while. Scott Drake, MLB's independent bat consultant, noted that manufacturers had sent samples of the bat to players in the Korean baseball organization many years ago. But early in the 2023 season, Aaron Lenhart, an MIT-educated physicist who worked in the Yankees organization and recently joined the Marlins as Major League Field Coordinator, began to get players to buy into the concept of experimenting with the weight distribution in their bats. And from there, he got some of MLB's 41 bat manufacturing companies to start crafting prototypes. Though the Yankees' opening weekend power performance was the Torpedo bat's big breakthrough in the public consciousness, they aren't the only team to have brandished these bats. When Orioles all-star catcher Adley Rutschman went deep twice on opening day, he was using the Torpedo.
Oh my goodness!
Oh my goodness!
Adley Rutschman making a double!
When Reds star shortstop Elly De La Cruz had a 7 RBI game early in the season, he was torpedoing too.
Make sure you stay in your seats, folks, because this young man is some kind of exciting.
Young Rays sensation Junior Caminero, and all-star first baseman Yandy Diaz, Cubs second baseman Nico Horner, and Twins catcher Ryan Jeffers were some other early members of Team Torpedo this season. But the bat was also in use in 2024. Fans and media didn't notice it at the time, but Mets superstar shortstop Francisco Lindor was using the bat last year, in the midst of finishing second in the NL MVP race. And Yankees slugger Giancarlo Stanton's epic October performance came with the Torpedo bat. The Cubs experimented with the bats in batting practice last year, while some Red Sox players used them in spring training this year. Not everyone who has tried the bat has adopted it, because the unorthodox weight distribution is not for everybody. Judge, a prototypical slugger, has said he prefers the traditional model with the barrel near the end of the bat.
Can't keep him in the park!
You just cannot take this for granted, what you are watching.
And considering he set an AL record with 62 homers in 2022, hit another 58 last season, and already hit 4 within the first 3 games of 2025, you can hardly blame him. Bat selections come with certain trade-offs. The longer a bat, the harder it is to control through the zone, but the shorter it is, the harder it is to reach pitches off the plate. Maple bats are the strongest and most dense and therefore the most powerful. Ash bats are lighter and therefore allow for greater bat speed and flexibility, allowing for more forgiveness on mishits off the end of the bat. So while there is no magic bat, the Torpedo bat presents another variable for players to consider. Think of a sledgehammer. If most of the weight is distributed toward the end, it takes more energy to swing it, but produces more powerful results. Bring that weight further down the handle, and it gets easier to swing, but with less powerful force. Hitters must consider the balance between weight and swing speed, and also their own tendencies of where on the bat they most commonly strike the ball. But when an especially visible team like the Bronx Bombers pulls out a new toy, people notice. And when a team hits 15 homers in a single weekend, including 9 with the new bats, people really notice. Naturally, during the season's opening weekend, there were a lot of reactions to the new style of bat, not just from fans, but from players. Such as when Padres third baseman Manny Machado was asked about them by the ESPN crew while mic'd up for Sunday Night Baseball.
And one of the things that has made the news here, Manny, these torpedo bats. Like the Yankees have 15 homers already. Are you aware of those? Like, help people who follow baseball to understand, to your degree, what that means, what you know about it.
I have no idea what they are.
Is that right?
They should send a few over here if they're going to be hitting homers like that. So whoever's making them, we can send a few over here to Petco with this big ballpark.
There's no reason for the league to torpedo the Torpedo, because the bat could aid the league-wide desire to improve contact percentages. And in a StatCast-inspired era in which the finer points of a player's statistical identity can be easily researched, tailoring the bat to a hitter's specific swing makes a lot of sense. But as Brewers manager Pat Murphy noted after his pitchers were torpedoed by the Yankees, it's the magician, not the wand. A bad hitter is not going to become a great hitter just because he tries this new style of bat. But as we've seen so far, the bat can make the most of certain swing paths. The Torpedo itself is not a one-size-fits-all model. Any of the MLB-approved bat manufacturers can make the Torpedo, and any player can request one. The bat shape can be specifically custom to maximize potential damage on a given player's swing. And the process can take time, as Phillies second baseman Bryson Stott explained to reporters.
It's not a bat that they've been around. It's not a new thing. It's been around, and it's not a thing you could just go and order. Marucci and Victus have a hit lab, they call it, and connect all these wires to you. You swing 1,000 bats and they kind of tell you where you're hitting the ball mostly and things like that.
Baseball is known to be a copycat game in which success with a novel idea often inspires other clubs to adopt it. Already, bat manufacturers are getting a ton of requests from players across the league who want to try the Torpedo. The new bats aren't for everybody, and you can bet that pitchers will try to adjust to those who use them. But the bats are perfectly legit, and a reminder that barreling the ball doesn't necessarily mean hitting it on the traditional barrel itself.